In this one we continue running through Act 5 with our BLADESTORM BLEED character. I'm going to show you all the key boss fights, things to watch out for, and how to get those lovely skill points. Enjoy! Welcome back Exile, you're watching Altek2k Gaming. Exit town, stage left to the control blocks. Once in the control blocks, you know the drill, kill anything that's blue or big enough to kill you. For this area you really do want a movement skill that can jump over ledges. If you don't have one, I suggest getting one temporarily, otherwise this will take much longer than it needs to. BLADESTORM is still feeling a little sluggish in this area, so you will pause briefly as you attack. Unlike me, once you have reached level 38, you want to apply multi-strike in place of rage on BLADESTORM. This will lower our hit damage on the first strike, but will not affect bleed. The second strikes will increase damage, with both hits and bleed, because it's just unqualified damage we're adding on the second and third hit. We've now reached the first corridor. This is where you need the movement skill so you can jump off one side and jump onto the other. Look for breaks in the fence which allow you to jump through. Once we're on the other side, normally towards the bottom left, you'll find the miasmeter box. You want to head there and get the miasmeter. This is worth a skill point later. Once you have the miasmeter, head onwards and upwards, literally. Head upwards through the door and you'll find the second trough or corridor. Here just do what we did last time, jumping through gaps in the fence to get to the other side as quickly as possible. On the right hand side of the opposite side of the corridor, head through a door. In this area you'll find a sort of exit into another corridor area. You will not be able to jump down in this corridor. Instead, head left. There'll be a pack of blues, kill them, and beyond that there'll be a boss. The boss is called Justicar Casticus. Try saying that 10 times fast. He has two main attacks. One is Lacerate, which he'll fire towards you. Try and avoid standing in the middle of the cones where you'll take double damage. His second attack, or spell, is Summon Raging Spirits. Fortunately for us, the BLADESTORM on the ground just kills these as they're coming in, so they do no damage to you. Head out the door past the boss now, and run left. On the far left of the arena there will be an exit upwards. This leads us to Oriath Square, and that's where we are now. This area is not random and is fixed. When you exit the control box, take a right, go up through the square on the wall, and then head inwards to the first exit upwards. This will take you over a bridge, and you want to sort of head right, but upwards still. At the far right of the arena, you'll find the Templar Courts. And that's this area covered. You've reached your destination. We will come back here later where more exits will be open, but the overall layout is still the same. But for now, through the doors into the Templar Courts. We're heading to fight Innocence. The first thing we do in this area is grab the waypoint. Now we did level in the last area, so it's time to apply a skill point, and we're going to apply Call to Arms. This makes our Enduring Cry cast instantly, which means we can now put it on the left mouse button and it will cast as we move. And now we work our way through the complex maze that is the Templar Courts. And just a brief word of warning here. Both this area and the next has a higher density of mobs than usual. Some of the mobs have proximity shields. These protect them and anyone around them from direct damage. The only way to deal damage to these people is to be within the shield. If this doesn't feel safe, then avoid killing the mobs and skip them. This is a complex maze, however, you want to head right and upwards. Eventually you'll find yourself in the main courtroom chamber. You'll know that you're here because there'll be a big pack of blue mobs in the middle, and loads of seats facing inwards to the centre. There will be an exit from this room either directly downwards or out to the right. Only one of these two will exist, and that will mark the way to your next location. Whichever exit happens to exist from your courtroom chamber, both of them will eventually lead downwards. Keep going down until you reach the end and there'll be a room off to the left. The exit from this room leads you into the Chamber of Innocence, and there'll be no rewards for guessing who we face at the end of this one. But it might be Innocence. Now this chamber only has ever so slight randomness, so it's pretty much the same shape every time. From the waypoint we're going to head left, and we're going to keep heading left until we reach the far end of the arena. In which case we're going to head downwards until we can continue heading left. Once you get as far left and down as possible, then you're going to head right across the arena, and once you reach the end of this area you're going to head directly upwards. 9 times out of 10 this will lead you to a room just outside the arena where we fight Innocence. In 3 corners of this room there are blue mobs. Kill them all for the great XP. Once everything in this area is dead, then you can apply any skill points you've got before heading into the arena to fight Innocence. Or more accurately, Templar Avarius. His human form. Avarius' basic attacks are Cleave and a triple Fireball. To avoid getting hit by either of these, just circle around him as you attack. Just rinse and repeat this until he gets to 50% life, at which point he'll teleport into the centre of the arena and become invulnerable. Loads of minions will spawn, which serve to refill your flask charges. Do note that some of the monsters utilise proximity shields. Once this phase ends, you'll be able to hit him again. Once he gets down to 25% life, he'll shout the word "Rise." This will animate one of the large statues in the room that'll come and try and attack you. It uses a melee attack. It's easily avoidable. Another pretty common major ability is Divine Slam. Avarius' staff will glow, and he casts a wave on the floor that travels to a location. Upon reaching the destination, the wave explodes in a large area. This can be pretty lethal, and it is telegraphed by the word "kneel." Once he's dead, the first phase ends, and he becomes Innocence. Innocence mainly fires these fireballs. One of his more common major abilities is Divine Beam. The voice line for this is "I am the torch." Once he says this, he'll shoot out a beam and then rotate around. You need to keep behind him at all times to stop being hit by this beam. When he says "I am the end," he's creating an expanding circle. Once it reaches full size, it'll explode. Luckily, we phased in before this happened. Like Avarius, Innocence has minion phases. These trigger at 50% and 33% of life. He also has the statue rise thing, although he does appear to be able to cast these more frequently and without hitting a certain life level. Innocence also has two other basic abilities, Divine Charge and Divine Charge 2. The first one leaves spark projectiles behind him, and the second, he dashes and creates a large explosion on the floor. The large explosion on the floor is surprisingly damaging, as you can see. Whoops. And that's my dreams of getting to maps deathless, well, dead. Another common major ability is I Am the Storm, or Divine Call. This creates 5 fireballs in the air that try and hit you one at a time. Keep moving and hopefully they'll miss. It should be noted that throughout the Innocence fight, the predominant damage types are fire and lightning. You want to get your resistances up as high as possible before this fight. Once the fight's been going for some time, he'll start to use another major ability called Purging Orb. This is by far the most lethal of all Innocence's attacks, and the reason you should try and kill him as quickly as possible so you can kill him before this starts. This spits out a fiery orb that then splits into 5 waves of projectiles in a nova, covering the whole arena. You have 2 choices for surviving this. Find a statue that is no longer animated from Rise that's in the centre of the arena and stand behind it so the balls hit it and not you. This is by far the safest survival mechanism, but isn't always possible. The latter is to run to the edge of the arena so the balls spread out, and as they approach you, try and run back to the centre, dodging them. This can be more difficult than it sounds. I Am No More marks the end of the fight. If you haven't seen the game's only cutscene, then stick around and talk to Sin. Otherwise, exit via the gift shop. The gift shop currently has no merchandise, but a really grumpy Bannon who says, "What in damnation have you done?" Just ignore him and head for the Torched Courts. The Torched Courts are basically the Templar Courts in reverse. Once you get back to the main chamber of the courtroom, you'll find the boss. You don't need to kill him, but I can't help myself. Now, important thing to note here, in Act 5 you have to run back through the Torched Courts. Once you get to Act 10, you can actually skip them completely, and just use the waypoint in the Baron Room to get back to the waypoint in Oriath Square. I mention this because it's not clear, and I have seen people actually run it afterwards for no reason whatsoever. And we exit where we came in, back to Oriath Square, which is now ruined. Being ruined, it is now referred to as the Ruined Square. This video is not getting the same level of interest as some of my other videos. If you would prefer I stop making this series early and go back to some other kind of videos, then let me know in the comments below. Conversely, if you're enjoying this series, then please tickle that like button to let me know that you like it, and leave a comment. This channel is all about making the kind of videos that you want to see. Your feedback is very important to me in helping me hit that goal, and much appreciated. This is the same layout as the Oriath Square with one major difference. We have debris blocking some of the passageways. When you come out of the Torched Courts, for instance, you have to take sort of a big U back up to find the waypoint. Once we've grabbed the waypoint, we're going to head in to the ossuary. This is where we find the stick needed to kill Kitava. Once you get into this room, which heads left to right from the main entrance, pick a direction and head there. In the majority of runs I've done, right has been the correct direction. Once you are getting towards the end of the path, then head downwards until you've gone further than the entrance to this area. Once you have, head in the opposite direction back towards the entrance to this area. Eventually you should see the quest marker, head up, open the sarcophagus, and get the big stick of purity that drops out. Use the lever to open the skull wall, and then head in to grab the crafting recipe if you haven't got it already. And now we find ourselves back in the ruined square. We're going to head downwards. We want to head to the reliquary. Once you get to the square, you'll find 2 exits to your right. You want to take the second one. If you're building a projectile build and need an extra chance to pierce, then the first area does have a boss that will give you a gem from Bannon, which gives you extra pierce. But we don't need that. Once you get to the reliquary, head in. The reliquary quest has us getting 3 relics from various chests. One is located bottom right, the second top right, and finally top left. Once you have all 3, head back to town and you'll get a skill point from Lani. And we can also cash in the Miasma meter for a second one. And now we can get Aggressive Bastion if you have sufficient skill points, which you should have. Note that the Aggressive Bastion cluster is one of the only ones that gives you ailment damage, increasing our bleed, so we definitely want this. Okay, head back to the Ruined Square waypoint. We are now in the final stretch of the act. We are going to run back to the main square and this time head to the left, about opposite to where the reliquary is, only slightly more upwards. You should find a pair of ladders to the cathedral rooftop. Ascend them. Onto the cathedral rooftop now, and there's one directive. Head from right to left as quickly as possible. The main mob to watch out for on this is the Kitava looking bat type thing that fires red balls at you. It's incredibly nasty and can kill you quite easily. General advice, run past it without trying to kill it. Once you do finally reach the end of this area, you'll find a door to the cathedral apex. Strap in, this is where we're going to fight Kitava. Touch the plant pot known as Cradle of Purity. This will plant the purity stick in the plant pot and allow Kitava to wake up, in his statue form. Now this means that he's only just woken up for the first time, so if we hadn't fought him, would he still be there and still be a problem? Who knows? But now that he is, it's time to kill him. His favourite attack when you're in melee range is this fist pump he does against the ground. This causes out a shockwave from that location. The number of times I've died to jumping into this instead of away from it is phenomenal, so please do be very, very careful. And just rinse and repeat. The second kind of attack he likes to do is to hit the ground with his wrist and sort of drag it along the platform. This is very, very dangerous and will one-shot you if you're not incredibly careful. And also, this goes further than you think, so do give him a wide berth when he does it. I've stood far too close to him on some occasions and just been hit by the edge and died. Once an eighth of his life has been destroyed, the Staff of Purity will strike him and he'll fall under the ground. Okay, he's back for the second phase, and he's learnt a new skill. He'll plunge his fist into the ground, summoning some kind of demon tar that flies across the ground. This does damage over time, so please try and avoid standing on it. Another thing he's picked up is the ability to plant 4 little circles on the ground that move closer and closer together. If they hit you while they're reaching the other ones, or they all hit together, they'll explode, dealing massive damage. You can probably tank a single one hitting you, but if you stand where they converge, you'll be dead. He does these frequently along with the skills he also has in the first phase. Something else he'll do is like throw a piece of wood at you, though this is quite slow moving and you can normally dodge it really easily. Once he drops to about 75% of life, his heart will pop out of his chest and land on the ground. Kitava falls away again and his heart summons a series of really nasty mobs. You've got to try and knock the heart down as much as possible while killing these mobs. Once you've dropped the heart down to about 80%, Kitava will come back out of the ground, grab his heart and put it back in his chest, like you do. In the next phase of the fight, he just repeats what he had in the last phase, so pretty straightforward if you know the second phase. The general strategy here is to drop our Bladestorm at him and then run out of the way when he goes to hit us. Drop him to about 66% of life and the second heart will pop out. He falls under the ground again. This is identical to the second heart phase, so just do what you did there and you should be fine, unless of course you died, in which case don't do that. The bulkiest looking mobs are the most dangerous, so you'll notice I'm standing between the heart and those mobs. This means I can do damage to both of them simultaneously. Eventually Kitava will come back for the final phase of the fight, and again he just has all the same abilities as he did in phase 2. After knocking him down this time, he's going to pick himself up, dust himself down, and shoot a laser beam from between his eyes. This will destroy the purity stick, and knock you out in the process. But before he can kill you, Sin will fly in and save the day. Well, actually, he just picks you up and flies away with you. You wake up in Oriath Square with your resistances, and God knows what else, in tatters. Now, normally at this point I'd say walk to Lily Roth and tell her to sell you to Rayclast, but instead I'm going to say, when the hell did the duelists get the new voice lines? They're amazing, and they started in this act. We made it to Act 7 in 2 hours, 44 minutes and 38 seconds. That is pretty good going. One of the comments in a previous video was, how does the 5th Ascendancy work? I will link a video in the top left of the screen. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.